Kitsap County. Thank you for joining us. This week, we're going to talk about why the COVID housing market is so unbelievably hot and the 3 reasons contributing to the hot COVID market. I'm Stephanie Dupuis with Dupuis team at Keller Williams. Joining us,
Lopez, Dupuis team, Keller Williams, West Sound.
So Cassie, have you had any clients ask you, why is the market so hot when we, for all intents and purposes, should have a difficult housing market right now?
Yeah, I've had plenty of clients ask me that. So we're all wondering, what are the reasons behind that?
Yeah, what are the reasons? And there's 3 really. With any housing market, you want to look at three things that allow you to analyze the housing market. The first one is inventory. The second one is interest rates. And the third one is job stability. So Cassie, real quick, what's going on with our inventory? This one's
still, if you watch our weekly stats videos, you'll know, still really thin inventory despite the amount of active sellers out there. They're just getting scooped up.
It's very simple, folks. Inventory is low. When inventory is low, pressure's high.
Yep.
When inventory is low, pressure's high on the market, and it increases housing prices. Okay. Second reason, interest rates. There's not much to say about interest rates. Interest rates are super low, historically low, and I don't see them getting any lower than this. Do you?
No, they're pretty much, it's like as close as you're going to get to free money right now.
Yeah, it is. So those are the first 2 factors. Inventory is low, interest rates are low. And our government lowers the interest rates to stimulate the economy. Mm-hmm. And we're going to talk about this next week on part 2 of this video. If interest rates are so low, what's going to happen with housing 2021? If we can't keep going lower, right? It's like the limbo, the bars on the ground. Yeah. The third thing to look at is job stability. Job stability is fascinating here because what type of town are we?
Military town.
Military town, job stability. We're kind of insulated, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, we're pretty protected. I mean, it's not that we don't feel the effects, it's just we don't feel them as much, mm-hmm. and the effects don't last as long.
Very true. Yeah. So, and this is simply speculation on my part. Right now we feel like we have job stability, especially in Kitsap County.
Right.
So how the housing market is responding to COVID really varies regionally throughout the United States, and it's super strong here in Kitsap County and in Washington State. However, I suspect if part of the reason we are seeing such a hot market specifically right now is people are concerned about job stability, so they're choosing to buy now in case they experience job loss later. Then they've secured their housing. Right. Because if you lose your job, how hard is it to find a rental if you lose a job later?
Incredibly hard to find a rental. It's hard to find one anyway, even if you do have a job, because our rental market is totally crazy right now too.
Mm-hmm. Would you say it's almost impossible?
Yes.
To get a rental if you don't have a job? So maybe you should, maybe it's smart if you're concerned about job stability to purchase a house when you can, to lock in a payment, to lock in housing, because we need shelter.
Yep.
So that's the third category. So the 3 categories are inventory, housing inventory, super low, historically low in Kitsap County. We're at 352 today, which we're going to talk about in our stats video later. Interest rates, also historically low. Third one, job stability. And there's a 4th one that we're watching, which is migration. So migration typically, Cassie, we see migration all the time. Migration is moving from one place to the other. And where do we see people migrating from?
From the large cities out to the more rural areas. Mm-hmm. And migration has always been a constant factor. Mm-hmm. It's not one that's looked at as heavily as those top 3, because it's always happening. It's always behind the scenes. We've been seeing it for the last 3 years. All the King County East Side home buyers are coming over here to purchase, with our ferry system, they're figuring out they can get twice the house for the money they're spending over on the east side. So it's kind of a no-brainer for them. So we've been seeing that pretty consistently, but even now with the COVID, it's more prevalent. It's being watched more.
Yeah, so one of the things we've seen with COVID is that people are no longer tied to their job. Mm-hmm. Several employers in Seattle just announced that they're gonna have work from home until mid next year, 2021.
Yep.
And with that announcement, their workers started looking for homes far away from Seattle. We just closed saw a closing in Belfair for a Seattle employee because they could. They didn't need to go to Seattle anymore. That's significant migration and an example of migration.
Right.
We saw another closing out in feedback from a Seattle employee. So we're seeing significant migration due to the use of technology. And if we're experiencing that here, it's probably happening nationwide also. But I would especially expect it here with such a tech-heavy community.
Yeah, and it gives the home buyers more freedom. If they can work from home, they can work from anywhere.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's kind of fun to see too. I mean, we've worked with buyers who they're free to live where they.
And I have a feeling that now that this is going to be the new norm, when everything does go back to normal, this part of it may not change at all. Employers realize that their employers are more productive working from home.
Yeah.
So this may be a larger factor in the future, a more consistently larger factor, in addition to interest, inventory, and job security.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you. So the 4 factors influencing such a hot COVID market: inventory, interest rates, job stability, and the 4th one, the one that really encourage you to watch on because it's simply fascinating, is migration out of the inner cities. All right. Thank you for joining us this week. If you found this valuable, please share it on Facebook and social media. Send it to your friends. Leave a comment below if you have questions. We'd love to hear your comments, thoughts, any questions that you have. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and like our Facebook page. We will see you here next week for this weekly video. Thank you for joining us today, Cassie. I'm Stephanie Dupuis with Dupuis team at Keller Williams West Sound, along with
Sandra Lopez, Dupuis team, Keller Williams West Sound. Have a good week.